All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit about how to create a library, and within that library, create an event and create a new project. Okay, so to do that, you first need to go to File, all right, and choose a new library. Okay, just call the library whatever you want. The best thing to do at this case would be to always save your library on an external drive, because your library contains all the videos, all the raw materials, basically everything that is in your project will be stored within that library. So the size of that library will grow really fast, and before you know it, you're going to run out of disk space within your own local drive. So the best thing to do is if you're going to be serious about video editing, invest in some kind of a external hard disk, preferably a fast one, SSD based, and then you edit off of that each time. So what I do is I always have my external hard disk here, and I store all my libraries within that hard disk. So now let's just call it class edit test demo. Okay, so now I've created a library here. So you can see the library created right here. And within the library, automatically they will create a new event. And I can, again, rename that event into day 1, for example, if I'm going to have clips for a few days. Now I'm going to import the media. So you can either drag and drop, or you do it this way. So I already have, for the purposes of this demo, I already have some clips imported. So I'm just going to go on and bring 2 clips here. There you go. So you'll notice a few types of information here. One thing I want you to take note of is under the Files tab, there's an option to either leave the files in place. In other words, you want to edit off of the source of the video file. I don't encourage you to do that, because that would not allow you to bring your hard disk anywhere you want. So the best thing to do is to copy it to your hard disk. That makes sure that everything, all your videos will be within your library and within your hard disk. Okay, so copy it over, add to existing events. Now the difference between transcoding, it really depends on how powerful your computer is. So in this case, you can either have the option of creating an optimized media or creating a proxy media. And what proxy media really does is that the machine will sort of create a very low quality video for you to edit off that, to make your rough cuts there. And then when you render the video, when you export the video, it will basically apply those cuts in the actual raw footage, and then your final one would be the one in full resolution. Okay, optimized media is where Final Cut sort of converts all your raw materials into ProRes. In other words, at Apple's native video system. So the ProRes codec will then allow Final Cut to smoothly edit everything, and it's very computing friendly. In other words, Apple computers, they love the Macs, they love having ProRes media to edit off of, because it's well optimized within the Mac ecosystem. So if you don't want to do either, that's fine. If your files are like a typical MP4 and the file size are not very big, you can edit directly off of that, and that's what I'll do now. So once you import, you see there's 2 clips here. Okay, I'm just going to show 2. So basically, once you're done, you have your library, in this case class test demo. Okay, Smart Collections is a default folder. You can sort of delete it if you don't want. And then you have your event. So let's say if you have a second day, you can easily, again, create a new event, go to File, New, create a new event there. Okay, so in this case, I won't create a new event. I'm just going to show you how to create a new library. Within that library, create an event, and from there, you can have your 2 files here. Okay, and then within each event, now you can create a new project. So just right click and create a new project. Project is basically your video, your final cut, your final edit video, the one that you will work your timeline on. So each timeline is equivalent to 1 project. So I'm just going to call my project name audio syncing, because that's what I'll do next for you guys. So you can adjust the settings all right here. Rendering, Pro ProRes, format is in 2K, things like that. Okay. So I'm just gonna, to make life easier for me, I'm just gonna create a 720p video. Okay, and then I'll click OK. And that's basically it. So now you have your project. So what you can do is you can just choose your clip, choose it right down, bring your clip, bring it right down. Okay, and then now you're slowly. So there you go. You're already building your timeline.
Welcome to another version of the Beyond the Lecture podcast.
There you go. So now you can start building and building and building until the point where you feel happy, and then you can export your video, and thus begins your journey to starting your video edits. Okay. Now in the next chapter, I'll talk about audio syncing.